Welcome to ZenLedger. Today I'm going to take you through how to get your crypto taxes done. If you're watching this video, you probably know that crypto taxes are rather complicated, and there's a lot of reasons for that. You have multiple accounts, typically you have multiple exchanges, blockchains, decentralized wallets, all sorts of stuff. We need to get that all into a single form that we can then do our tax analysis on top of. It gets complicated fast. So you start on ZenLedger by adding your accounts to it, and you need to add every single account you've ever held crypto in to get a full history. The way that taxes work, you have to have a cost basis for every asset that you sold so you can get gains and losses on that asset. And so we need that full history. So get everything in. Whether it's an exchange or decentralized wallet, it all has to come into the account. ZenLedger has native support for tons and tons and tons of different exchanges and blockchains and even custom CSV formats, a lot of different ways to get your data into the account. I'll show you an example here with Gemini. Gemini is an exchange, and we're going to import here through API. I've already set up an API integration for this demo, but it's not that hard if you've never done it before. You can create an API key through Gemini. You make it a read-only API key or an auditor API key. This makes it so we don't have any access to do any transactions. We just have access to read your transactions. This is pretty much the standard for most exchanges. Some exchanges, we also allow you to do CSV files if you'd prefer that. Gemini's CSVs are just not very friendly. We'll click the import button, and now it's going to take all those transactions from Gemini and it's going to bring them into ZenLedger. So it's using that API credentials to pull the transactions into the account. You'll want to repeat this for as many exchanges as you have. So get all the exchanges in the system, and then we can go from there. In addition to exchanges, I also mentioned that you can upload wallets directly from the blockchain. So if you have an Ethereum wallet or a Bitcoin wallet, you can do that here. So in this wallet import section, you're going to select your blockchain. You can give it a label if you want, and you can give it a wallet address. This is your public wallet address ID. This is how we're going to pull that information from the blockchain. In this case, I'm going to do an Ethereum address. I'm going to hit add wallet here, and it's going to do the same process that we've seen before, except for instead of an exchange, now it's pulling from the blockchain directly. Depending upon how many transactions this account has, all that type of stuff, it can take a little bit of time. Generally, it's pretty quick. In this case, pretty quick here. So this Ethereum wallet had 259 transactions, some deposits, withdrawals, and trades, and we can take a look now. So we have a couple things imported. We can import more if we want, but for the sake of the demo, we'll keep it simple, and we'll go to the Transactions tab. The Transaction tab has multiple different UIs. You can kind of think about this as this is a more granular view, and this is a more holistic view. For the sake of the demo, I'll show you the holistic view here, the new UI. It's going to show you every single transaction here that happens on your Gemini and every transaction that happens on your Ethereum wallet. It's all combined, sorted by date. You can also, if you want to break it down and only look at transactions from one, you can do that. You can break down by date, you can break down by transaction type, all that type of stuff. We pull transaction values for every single transaction. So for thousands and thousands of different crypto assets, we automatically pull the price. Most exchanges will report the price, and we'll use that. But if you're taking it from the blockchain directly, you won't have that. You'll see some things here that are also getting flagged, these missing prices and stuff. If you're familiar, you've probably seen that you get these silly airdrops that happen all the time where random people send you assets, typically spam tokens and stuff. So you don't really want to report these on your taxes or anything like that. You can see they don't even have a USD value with most of these. You can mark them as airdrop within the platform, and then this basically effectively will ignore these assets. So we will automatically do this for some assets, but not for every asset. This is kind of how it works in general. So this is how the transactions end up looking. But the key here is you want to get your taxes done. So when we're going to go to the taxes tab, it's going to automatically run a tax calculation here, and it's going to calculate gains and losses broken down by year, given all the accounts. So it's going to go back in history to the very first thing that ever happened in your accounts, and that's going to establish basis for that asset, and it's going to go from here. There's a little tutorial here that will walk you through what's happening. Taxes are shown here. The tax forms and such are shown down in here, so you can download all the tax forms. Oftentimes you will attach these to your tax returns. Most of the time you're not going to need a lot of these. You're just going to be pulling numbers from Schedule D, Schedule 1s, and maybe attaching an 8949. In some cases, we do have much more complex tax returns that people do through the site. We have a lot of different tax forms there. Income box here below. This is so in addition to having gains and losses. Some people are paid money in crypto. They might earn it from mining, they might earn it from staking rewards, they might earn it just, maybe somebody did a design project and got paid in Bitcoin or something like that. So these can come in here as well. There's also some additional tools that it's highlighting as well. Grand Unified Accounting Spreadsheet is really, really cool, and I'll talk about that in a minute. It does highlight that this external transfer number is oftentimes super massive, and you should ignore this number. These are assets that come in from unknown accounts. Typically, you should ignore this number. Every once in a while, a couple of these numbers are real, which is why it's included here. So this is what it generally looks like. So for this case, for the 2 accounts that I've uploaded, we have some short-term losses here for 2022 and a little bit of long-term gains. This is using the basis method of first in, first out. We also support last in, first out, and highest in, first out. And soon we'll be supporting average cost basis method as well, which goes for some other countries. This is the basics of ZenLedger. You have your imports and your taxes. It also, you can see there's these flags here, probable missing sources. There's oftentimes warnings that we throw out within the platform. When you upload things into ZenLedger, it's crypto, it's wild, wild west. Everything is not necessarily standardized, so sometimes you do have to do some tweaks. You really want to watch out for these warnings, the insufficient balance and the missing prices. The missing prices, in this case, are generally just airdrops, you'll see, and you mark all these airdrops and they'll go away. If you ever have an insufficient balance, this means that something is weird within the account. You might have gotten bad data from an exchange. We see sometimes exchanges don't give you your full history by default. You only get 3 years or something like that. And so it'll say that you sold an asset that we never had any record of you having, so we have no basis for that asset. That can be a problem. So we try to shout that out for you to make sure you get that fixed up and resolved. You ever have questions going through the platform, there's a support section down here. You can chat with our support team. We take great pride in our support team. They're super awesome, really, really helpful. So you always have that available to you. And you can always schedule consultations as well if you need phone consultations. Those can be a little bit more for complex cases. Let's go back to the taxes here to highlight a couple more cool things. On the taxes tab, again, these are what the tax forms look like. They will generate PDF files. There's also other different formats that you can attach directly to your returns in addition to PDF files. Here's what they look like. Your standard kind of 8949 form that you would attach to a return. And lastly, I want to go back here into the taxes tab and highlight this Grand Unified Accounting Spreadsheet. So this is a complicated thing. This makes an Excel spreadsheet that is really helpful for diagnosing complex cases. The majority of people doing their taxes are not going to need this type of detail, but if you are a more complex user, you have thousands of transactions, things are getting confusing, you're not really sure, the numbers maybe are coming out higher or lower than you might have expected, and you want to figure out what's happening, you can download this Excel spreadsheet, and this details tons and tons of information about your account. Every single taxable transaction that has ever happened on your account, what is the basis for it, where are the holding lots, summaries, all that type of stuff. So it's a really powerful tool. It comes standard with your ZenLedger subscription. That's pretty much everything I want to show you. The last thing I'll show is that we break down your holdings and stuff. We'll have portfolios and things coming in a little while, but right now it's just a general breakdown of what you have in your different accounts. This Ethereum wallet is pretty much empty. Pretty much everything's been moved out of it. But you can see the Gemini account still has quite a bit of assets in it. So you can kind of keep track of your assets that way and make sure that, when you've imported everything, that it matches what you think. If you think you have $108,000 in Gemini, yeah, that's right. If you think you have $5 in Gemini and you see that we think you have $108,000, well, something's amiss. So it's something you need to keep track of. So this is how the platform works. It's all about imports and then accounting from there. That's pretty much it. Yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you have any questions, always feel free to reach out. We're happy to help solve your crypto taxes. Thanks so much.